A community taking responsibility to destroy mosquito breeding sites. We look at the progress being made in Trelawney. Plus,
I've been there for 23 years and I've been dancing for 10 years.
hear Christoph's and two other friends' story as they pursue training in dance at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts. And we tell you about some exciting scholarship opportunities being offered by the Ministry of Finance. All that and more in today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
The Scientific Research Council is bringing reliable, accurate, and efficient analytical testing services to you. Investors, manufacturers, and service operators, protect yourself and consumers by ensuring that your product and environs are safe and secure. Come to us to test your food, cosmetics, potable and recreational water, environmental air quality, trade effluent, and to conduct shelf life studies for products. The SRC conducts on-site sampling, or you can submit your samples to our offices at Hope Gardens Complex, Kingston 6. The Analytical Services Department Laboratory is certified locally and internationally and is accredited ISO 17025. For more information, visit our office or send an email to prinfo@src-jamaica.org or call us at 927-1771-4. The Scientific Research Council, making science, technology, and innovation work for you.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, November 29. Jamaica and the United States have signed an energy framework agreement to increase energy cooperation and infrastructure investment on the island. The agreement was signed on Wednesday between Prime Minister Andrew Holness and U.S. Secretary of Treasury Steven Mnuchin. It's part of a U.S. initiative called America's Grow. Under the agreement, the two countries will cooperate to identify cleaner energy sources for powering Jamaica's economic growth.
Thank you to the Treasury Department for your support, your very strong support in assisting Jamaica in doing what we've done in terms of our fiscal turnaround and our economic reforms. And we're also very thankful for the understanding and facilitation that you have given us in other critical regional matters. It really means a lot to us. And as we look to strengthen our relationship, we welcome the deepening partnership in energy.
The performance under successive IMF programs has been stellar, and you are a model for not only other Caribbean countries, but for countries around the world in getting your finances in order. And we look forward to working very closely together with you in the future.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called on the Organization of American States, OAS, to strengthen its support for the fight against the illegal gun trade among member states.
It is rapidly leading to the destruction of many of the gains made by countries in the Americas.
The Prime Minister was addressing Tuesday's protocolary session of the OAS in the United States capital of Washington, D.C. He said Jamaica would also be deepening its cooperation with the OAS to increase the island's clean energy mix by 50%. The OAS meeting was among the Prime Minister's engagements on the first leg of his three-country working visit. Mr. Holness is now in Buenos Aires, Argentina, for the November 30 to December 1 G20 summit. Reggae music has been inscribed on the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. The decision to name reggae as one of the creations worthy of protection and promotion was made by the Intergovernmental Committee for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, which is meeting in Mauritius until December 1. In announcing the decision, UNESCO states that reggae's basic functions as a vehicle of social commentary, as a cathartic experience, and means of praising God remain unchanged, and the music continues to provide a voice for all. Culture Minister Olivia Grange was in Mauritius to welcome the news that is the result of her ministry's application earlier this year.
Jamaica expresses its sincere thanks for the tremendous support we have received from state parties for the inscription of the reggae music of Jamaica. We consider intangible cultural heritage to be of extreme significance in our country's identity, and so in Jamaica we are proud of the fact that this element of reggae music is one in which we often describe as that which we eat, sleep, and breathe.
The representative list seeks to enhance visibility for the traditions and know-how of communities without recognizing standards of excellence or exclusivity. Jamaica's nomination is one of 6 approved this week. More than 7,000 residents of several communities in South St. James now have access to improved water supply. This follows the completion of 4 major projects by the Rural Water Supply Limited, valued at approximately $54 million. They include the rehabilitation and/or upgrading of the Spring Gardens and Montpelier water supply systems, as well as improvements to the rainwater harvesting systems at Anchovy Primary and the Roehampton Primary and Basic School. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Carl Samuda, says government is working with speed to put infrastructure in place for consistent water supply to underserved communities.
The work that is in progress, that is necessary to be done, is the upgrade of the ROPA system for Maroon Town especially, that would bring water to that town. The other system, which is the Caenwood system, that would supply Montpelier, Montego, and Anchovy, is not, Derek, anything that is going to be outstanding for a long time. And indeed, the tender has been put out, and we are expecting that very early in the new year, that project will commence.
Minister Samuda was speaking on Friday at a symbolic turn-on and tour of the Montpelier system. The 10-year strategic development plan for the public health sector is expected to be finalized within the next few months. This was disclosed by Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton at the official opening of the $860 million National Linear Cancer Treatment Center at St. Joseph's Hospital.
That will chart the course over the next 10-20 years as to where we need to go in terms of public health infrastructure, in terms of people, in terms of equipment, in order to address the concerns of our population and in keeping with our long-term vision for sustainable development.
Dr. Tufton says the newly acquired state-of-the-art linear accelerator cancer treatment machine is a pivotal part of the plan. He says the ministry has received approval to commission a study for the development of the hospital into a center of excellence for cancer treatment and kidney care. And finally, the National Council on Drug Abuse, NCDA, is pointing to an urgent need to tackle a worrying misperception among youth regarding ganja decriminalization and its use. NCDA Executive Director Michael Tucker told a recent JIS think tank that it would need more resources for interventions that discourage young people from using the substance.
Many of them think that decriminalization means legalization, and therefore they think they should be able to operate with ganja like how they operate with tobacco or alcohol. Many too think that they can do or use ganja in any circumstance and any place.
The law decriminalizes the use and possession of 2 ounces or less of ganja, making it a ticketable offense. Persons under age 18 are prohibited from possessing or using the substance. It is allowed with strict conditions for scientific and medicinal purposes and as a sacrament for members of the Rastafarian faith. Mr. Tucker says ongoing national drug prevention efforts will need to be scaled up to spread awareness. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
It's safe to say that Jamaicans are fully aware of the health risks associated with mosquito-borne diseases like chickpea and Zika virus caused by the Aedes aegypti mosquito. And that has made us even more driven to destroy their breeding sites. That's why the Ministry of Health has mobilized the Community Health Aid Vector Control team to get us all involved.
Mosquito vector control in Trelawney, like many other parishes, is showing successful results. Through the Health Ministry's assault on the pesky insect, public awareness of the threat of mosquito-borne diseases is increasing. And the need to take preventative steps to avoid the unfortunate from happening is being reinforced.
The threats are many. It's not just the loss of life. That's the worst and the most extreme. It is the downtime from work, people missing work. It is the cost of medication. It is the pain and suffering to family members who suffer the pain from the ailment. So there are a list of negative consequences.
Trelawney has been experiencing marked decline in the Aedes aegypti mosquito population since the parish vector control team commenced executing the community health aid program in July 2018.
In terms of where we were even up until late last year, prior to coming on of this expanded mosquito program, we were in the middle 20%, that's Aedes index. All you have at an Aedes index is the number of houses inspected divided by the number that you'd have found breeding. As we speak, the index would have transformed. Transformed dramatically. We are now at about 9.5%. That's the parish index as we speak.
10 full-time employees within the Ministry of Health's vector control unit in the parish have been facilitating the mosquito population decrease over the last few years. But supported by an additional 36 young persons engaged temporarily under the Community Health Aid Program for 3 months in the first instance, the team has been able to cast a much wider net on public enemy number one. This 4 times bigger team, forming an army of nearly 50 persons spread out across the parish, is providing information to residents, carrying out inspections, and giving advice on how to treat with water sources that act as mosquito breeding sites. They determine the population of the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, treat and destroy breeding sites, and encourage residents to continue these preventative measures.
Our position in the ministry is that this is in fact the most effective way to deal with the threat of vector-borne diseases, and in this case, the Aedes aegypti population.
Everyone is being reminded of their personal responsibility to ensure their surroundings are void of the facilitators for mosquito breeding.
Most of our mosquito breeding sites are found in and around the homes. It is found in your backyard, it is found in your drums, in your tanks, in the used tires, in the old cans that you put down.
Where there is stored water or catchment from pipes or rainfall, mosquito breeding can take place. Storage containers must be properly sealed to prevent entry of mosquitoes.
Right, so you see you don't see anything breeding in here.
About 500 temporary workers support the permanent vector control staff in the Ministry of Health island-wide as they work to help persons protect their health.
It's not an easy job. You have to confront locked gates, bad dogs, unwelcoming citizens, the sun, the elements, the rain, and you still put up with all of that and carry out your jobs, and we really appreciate that.
But also that they have their part to play also, because when we would have educated, then for the maintenance, they're the one who are supposed to continue the preventative measures.
We think that this program to support the permanent staff is important, and we will continue that. We will train these temporary workers, so at the end of it, they have some additional training through HEART, as we have done before.
If it is maintained, then surely we expect to maintain the percentage at 9 or below.
Hey, ready to pack? Remember, the importation, manufacturing, distribution, and use of single-use plastic carrier bags, or scandal as we call them, plastic straws, and styrofoam containers will not be allowed come January 1, 2019. Plastics do not decompose readily and end up in our environment as solid waste for many years, stifling our animals, plant life, and our livelihoods too. Rethink, refuse, reduce the use of plastic. Start using environmentally friendly packaging. The ban on plastics is effective as of January 1, 2019. Preserve our land. Support the plastic ban.
The Petro-Carib Scholarship is one of many being offered by the Ministry of Finance. This is for students who want to study in Jamaica, the Caribbean, and internationally. Let's hear about the 4 categories of study and how you can apply.
Hello and welcome to Finance Matters, a production of the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. I'm your host, Daniel Pasley, and today I have a very special guest. Her name is Miss Danielle Hall. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Hi, Danielle. Thanks for having me again.
And today we'll be talking about scholarship opportunities provided by the Ministry of Finance and how it contributes to nation building. Now, there's a certain scholarship called the Petro-Carib Scholarship. It's so unique, but I'm not going to give it all away. Could you tell us a little bit more about that scholarship opportunity?
I see you're on target, Danielle. The Petro-Carib Scholarship was launched in 2016, and they came in association with the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to offer scholarships in 4 specific areas to Jamaican citizens. Now, this scholarship differs from the other scholarships that we would have spoken about last we spoke. We offer this scholarship to students who wish to study locally, regionally, and internationally. Now, the 4 areas that I speak about are modern languages, entrepreneurship, logistics, and energy. Wow. Now, you would see these scholarship opportunities and wonder why these 4, and we speak about nation building. Now, these scholarship opportunities foster nation building in such a way that our sectors in the country are targeted. So, for example, modern languages. Tourism is a huge sector in Jamaica. Right. And we have tourists coming in all year round, and sometimes they don't speak English. Now, when we send our students to study a modern language, right, then they come back to Jamaica, or they remain in Jamaica, and our tourists come on the island and realize that a Jamaican is speaking to them in their native tongue. Yes. Isn't that impressive?
Yeah, that would be very impressive.
That's one area. Logistics and energy. Now, they sort of go hand in hand. And these 2 areas, they're not widely dominated in Jamaica. A lot of persons are more heading towards law and medicine, and we tend to forget about these very important areas. So the Petro-Carib Scholarship Fund and the Ministry of Finance together thought it necessary to target these 2 areas. And entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is very big. Everyone wants to be their own boss. So this program for entrepreneurship also fosters employment, and that is an area that we really need to focus on.
That's definitely true.
It brings down the unemployment rate. So when a person has their own company, they can now employ others. And by doing so, we would have reduced the unemployment rate. And I think that's an excellent idea from both entities, the Ministry of Finance and the Petro-Carib Scholarship Program.
And there's a certain bonding clause within some of these scholarships. Could you highlight that?
Oh, the very famous bonding. Okay, before we even get to the bonding, might want to add that for the Petro-Carib Scholarship Fund, persons can get up to a maximum of $500,000 per year.
$500,000.
Yes. So I think with that said, we are inviting persons to apply for this scholarship. And the other point that I'd really like to establish is that this scholarship goes all year round. Once there is the funding, we offer this scholarship right through the year. And there is no age limit. So we would have spoken about age limit, but this scholarship, once you are willing to pursue one of these 4 areas, then you are free to apply.
So it's open to all, so you don't have to worry about if I'm 80 or if I'm 70 and I want to do energy or modern languages. You can apply for this Petro-Carib Scholarship, and I believe that it's an excellent opportunity to do so. Would you find that there are many persons who are coming for these scholarships?
This scholarship, from it became advertised in 2016 up till now, has been embarked on by Jamaicans all across the island. Persons will just come in at random times of the year just to apply for the Petro-Carib Scholarship. And we find that with this scholarship, because it is a scholarship, we find that persons actually want to do this area now. Persons were not usually interested in doing logistics and energy, even modern languages.
Right.
So this scholarship now enhances their ability to want to study in such an area.
Thanks, Daniel, for sharing the Petro-Carib Scholarship and how it contributes to nation building.
Thank you, Daniel.
I'm Daniel Pasley. Have a great day.
We really want all of you to start thinking about how are you going to level up this November. And level up for us starts with self. So it's really a call to action for you to look at yourself and to see what can you do better, what more can you give, what more do you want to be. So we want all of you to use Youth Month to recommit, to do more, to do better, to go harder. But not just for self, but for communities. Because we believe that young people can change communities. But more than that, level up in your own lives so that we can level up Jamaica. Level up, level up, level up.
It was famous dance instructor Martha Graham who said dance was the first art, and being deaf is certainly not a limitation to mastering this art. Watch now as we share with you the stories of 3 exceptional dance students who moved to silent tunes, silent because they are deaf.
There's a sort of purposeful selection of the sequence in these human movements. The symbolic significance of hands massaging the air and feet beating to the vibrations of songs. They're focused, energized, ready, and raring to go. If you think about it, they are just like you and I. Well, of course, that's if you can dance. But one thing might be different.
I've been deaf for 23 years, and I've been dancing for 10 years. I've been deaf for 21 years, and I've been dancing for 14 years. So I've been hard of hearing ever since I was born until now. And I've been dancing for 16 years.
Yes, persons like Christoph, Kimberly, and Damani dance. And despite nature's act of removing a seemingly valuable aspect of their senses, these 3 are pursuing a certificate in dance at the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts, but not without some challenges.
Well, my experience here at first, when the 3 of us just arrived, were a bit awkward in terms of communicating, but then we were able to learn from each other, learning from the hearing students, and we were able to we had issues as well with the rhythm, keeping up with the rhythm at all times, but then we were eventually able to catch up and we started to improve gradually. So for me, my main issue is timing. So I try to work along closely with the other students in the class and the teacher as well, and then eventually I'm able to catch up with the timing in terms of the music. So my challenge during class, it's really to ensure that my body is moving with the timing and the music.
Deaf dancers do move on the beat and in one accord with the rhythm. But the surprising element in this for most persons is just how are they able to, or even why did they choose dance?
I hear a little of the music and I can feel the vibration on the floor as well. So it's not that bad for me. So I use that method throughout.
With his sense of touch heightened through his loss of hearing, Damani can interpret the music through the vibrations he feels. Deaf dancers are visual learners, so for them, their instructors sign the moves or the counts. While other dancers are busy remembering the details of the moves, those like Damani, Kimberly, and Christoph are counting, keeping time, and watching keenly what their hearing peers are doing so they can interpret the steps.
So I chose to study dancing because dancing is my life. It's my passion ever since. So I want to learn more and more about dancing. I don't want to give up. I don't want to stop. I want to continue. because my goal is to become a dancer in the future. So when I'm finished at Edna College, I want to become a dancer and I want to perform around the world. So my goal is to become a dance teacher so that I can empower younger deaf children who really love dancing and empower them so that they can, be as good as I am. It's their turn.
But for acting dean at the School of Dance, being deaf is not the biggest obstacle for becoming a great dancer.
I don't want to describe what we have as challenges. I want to describe them as opportunities to learn. What fundamental to dance is the ability to demonstrate and for the dancer to use their eyes and observe and learn the experience in a visual way and then demonstrate what it is that they have been taught. I think one of the interesting things about the deaf students is that their other senses are heightened. And so they're able to access the information in other ways and quite differently from the hearing students. So it's very interesting to see the learning dynamics, but the end result and the objective or the learning outcome of the experience are still achieved. And we're very happy about that because ultimately we want them to succeed.
And while for the school it is the first time opening its gates to persons like Christoph, Kimberly and Demani to study dance,
they're eager to receive the information and we're inspired by this drive to learn and to succeed. So even though we have an interpreter, the interpreter is also learning from the experience because we have interpreters who have never been in a school environment like this where dance is concerned. So they're also learning new language. It somehow feels as though they've brought more to us.
For many of the deaf community, the fear of fitting in lingers. But for Christoph, Kimberly and Demani, dancing is passion-driven and determination-ruled.
Well, I hope that what we have done here at the Edna College in terms of opening our doors to 3 deaf students will encourage others and inspire them to go after their dreams.
So I remember in high school, there was a quote that says, "I believe I can achieve." I go by that. So in the Bible, it talks about, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." I believe I can achieve.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.